Hi, welcome back to Weird Kids Club. Today, it is only Weird Kid Club, which, still works as I am a weird kid. But, Ray isn't here today. I think she's eating dinner with her grandmother or something. And so I say, I'm going to sit in my room in dead silence and just talk about my childhood. Yeah, so this is just going to be a one-person episode. It's probably... I was going to say it's probably going to be boring, but it's not. It's going to be great. I think. I don't know. We'll see. Basically, I'm just going to delve into my past childhood traumas and, suppressed memories and stuff. I'd like to preface this by saying I'm grateful, that I had, shelter and food and clothing over my childhood. Because not everyone has that. And, I had supportive, loving parents. So my childhood, could have been a lot worse. So I don't want to seem like, I'm ungrateful, but there were some parts of it that were just a little bit sad. As I said, it could have been worse. On a grand scale, I had it very easy, but, there's just some funny, little sad, depressing stories. And those are the ones I'm going to go over today. So we start in kindergarten, yeah. So basically, for pre-K and the first half of kindergarten, I hopped around to a bunch of different schools until I finally landed on one. And at that school, kindergarten was half day. So my dad thought it would be a great idea to sign me up for this little program that they had for the kindergartners, where they'd go to this little church that was right next to the school. It was public school, but still there was a church next to the school. And when the kindergartners were done with the first half of their day, they'd go to the little church and hang out and have quote unquote fun. You may see where the story is going. And do projects or crafts or whatever. Anyways, my dad thought, she can be with other kids. She can do something. She just won't be sitting at home after school. So I'll sign her up for this. And I remember when the lady who was in charge of this program walked up to my dad and she was like, hey, do this. And I remember just me being 5. I was terrified. I was like, no, don't do it. And my dad was like, sure. And he was signing it, and I was just dying inside as he was signing it. Because remember when you were 5 and you couldn't talk, and you're like, well, I could talk, but you're not allowed to say anything. I don't know. You don't have an identity enough, or a sense of individualisticness enough to be able to say something. So then my dad signed it, and I was signed up for this thing where I'd go after school and hang out with other kids. It was basically just aftercare. So I freaking hated it. I didn't talk to anyone. I was kind of just a loner. But I remember there was this one other kid there, and his name, me saying his name is important for the story. So the story actually makes sense. So I'm going to say his name. If in the off chance he's watching this, listen, maybe you're a nice person. I don't know. You were just a freaking jerk when you were 5, and I'm going to penalize you for that on this podcast. This isn't a podcast for you. Okay, this is a podcast for me to get revenge on people who offended me when I was in first grade. So anyway, this kid was such a jerk. I can't remember all the things he did and said to me. It probably honestly wasn't that much, but it seemed like a lot at the time. But I remember one time, he called me fat. For backstory, I was quite the chubby little child, so he wasn't wrong. But here's the freaking thing. Fat, has a mean connotation. It shouldn't. It should just be a descriptor of someone's body. But it has a mean connotation because we've made it have a mean connotation. So obviously, as a 5-year-old, I took offense. And also, the funny thing is, this kid freaking, he was fat too. His name was Duncan. Did I say that? I don't know. His name's Duncan, right? And he called me fat. I don't know in what context. Maybe he was just like, hey, you're fat. Or like, I don't know, blah, 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 you're fat. Maybe there's some sort of setup. I'm not sure. He called me fat. The next day, I walk into that freaking cafeteria, because there's like this like little cafeteria in the church where we ate. It was probably just like a table, but I remember it as this like huge cafeteria. Anyway, the next day when I got to the cafeteria, I slapped my bag full of junk food down. Mom, if you're watching this, you packed me like fruit, I think, so I don't want to make it seem like you're a bad mom, but like, there was some junk food in there. Anyway, I slapped my bag full of brownies and cakes and cookies down, and then I turned to Duncan. I'm like, this is the best line ever. I turn to Duncan and I say, "What's up, Dunkin' Donuts?" Whoa! Sorry, hold on. I'm reshooting that, okay. So the next day, you know it's going to be good. I walk in with my bag of junk food. And Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm not saying you're a bad mom and you didn't pack me any produce, but there was a fair amount of junk food in those bags, and you know it. So I slapped on my bag full of brownies and cookies and cakes and chips, and then I turn to Duncan and I say, "What's up, Dunkin' Donuts?" Oh, what a burn. I mean, there's yet to have been a line more iconic, more revenge serving, more memorable than when I made fun of a child for their weight when I was 5. But he did make fun of me first, so it's fair, right? Oh, I also have another story from when I was in kindergarten. It's much less epic, and it's much shorter, and it's more sad. So basically, I was walking with this one kid. I don't need to say his name. I was walking with this one kid, and because from school to the church, we had to like walk down the sidewalk to get there, and we all would walk in like a line. So I'm walking with this kid, and we're talking, because kids just talk to everyone for no reason. Like, even if you're not friends, you talk. It's weird. We're walking, and we see this tree, and he's like, "I bet I could climb that tree. This tree does not have any branches. It is literally just like a pole. No one can climb this tree." And I say to him, "You can't climb that tree." And then he claps back with, "Well, of course you can't, because you're fat." Maybe you saw that one coming. Yeah, and I did not have a fun little comeback for this one, or like an insult back. I just kind of stood there, like, completely caught off guard and sad and completely insecure. Which bridges me to my next topic. I'm going to talk about my style as a child. So basically, when I was like 6, I was already insecure about my weight, which is really sad because like usually children don't like give like, excuse my language, okay, a crud, about their appearance, but I did because I was insecure about it. Because, society has, like, because society breeds fat kids to think they're awful from, like, birth. And I was really insecure about my weight. To the point where, when I was a first grader, I figured out that if I wore shorts under my skirts, because I wore skirts a ton, it almost had, like, this sort of, like, sucking in effect. So, essentially, I was wearing, like, tight shorts under my skirts that acted like girdles or like Spanx, if you don't know what girdles are. And then, to top it all off, that was a nice swallow. I don't know if that came up on camera, but I just, like, swallowed huge. Hopefully that wasn't disturbing to listeners. Or for listeners. Shout out to you. That was kind of cringy. Okay, anyway, crud. I have to cut out that part now. So basically, I would take sweatshirts and I'd tie it really tight around my waist, and it would have like a sucking effect also. And then I'd take my shirt on top that was like now like cinched and like puff it out. So it's sad because I was doing like all these things to make myself look thinner as like a 6-year-old. Think about that. Isn't that kind of messed up? Not me, because I don't want to insult past me, right? Literally, this entire episode is me insulting my past self. But I'm putting that one in society. That's society's fault. Yeah, it's not my fault. Society made me that way. I got another story about me being made fun of for my weight. It's a quick one. I'm just gonna throw it in there. I had this best friend in kindergarten. She was my best friend. We were on the swings one day, and we were just talking, laughing, literally talking about nothing related to how we looked at all. And I was like, oh, I know, I said like nothing, and then she was like, you're so fat. And it stayed with me to this day. It was literally 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and it was never brought up again. But it's funny how literally 2 seconds of someone saying something can stay with you for years, as it did there. Guess what time it is? We've now gotten into first grade territory. We've covered kindergarten. We've covered the various times I was called fat in kindergarten, and I did touch a little upon how I figured out the whole like clothing thing when I was in first grade. But now we're really gonna dive deep into first grade. Actually, not really. There's only like 1 or 2 stories from first grade. So I threw my first party in first grade. You may not know. I don't know how you wouldn't know this, but you may not know of the epic parties I threw when I was in my younger grades. I threw the most epic parties, man. You don't even know. They were great. They were memorable. They were epic. Wait, did I say epic? I think I said epic. They were fantastic, marvelous. You can't put into words how great they were. So basically, in first grade, the party was I invited all the girls in my class over to my house, and we were gonna paint flower pots, and I forget. We did like other like activities that you do with like 6-year-olds. I don't know. So basically, I invited all the girls in my class, and my stepmom, she got the class list out, and she found the names of all the girls in the class, and she emailed their moms, and was like, hey, there's a party. So the day of the party arrives, and, people start coming in, because it's at my house. People start coming in, like, hey. And then, this boy from my class walks in. His name is important for the story, so I will say it. I don't know where he is now. In the off chance he's listening to this isn't an insult or anything. Don't be offended, I guess. His name is Musa, and my stepmom assumed that was a girl's name. It was obviously not. So he shows up to this party, and literally it's all girls. There's not one guy at the party besides my dad and my uncle. Everyone else is girls. And this is on account of my stepmom misunderstanding his name. But I don't even know how this miscommunication happened, because and my stepmom calls their parents. It's like, hey, there's a party, blah blah blah. I don't know, however moms talk. And then Moose's mom responds. Wouldn't Moose's mom be like, yeah, he's really excited? Wouldn't she say he and refer to him as he at some point? I don't know how it happens, but somehow he got invited to this party, and they were all girls. And he didn't really want to hang out with us. the ladies. So basically what poor little Musa did, he's just sat and like ate sandwiches with my uncle the entire time. And it would have been a fun time, honestly. So yeah. Oh gosh, poor Musa. Okay. And for the rest of the party, I kind of forget what we did. I just remember once yelling to Musa, Musa, get over here! I don't know, I just have this memory of me yelling at that to the poor kid. And I still feel bad about it. Childhood. Okay, so another story I have. So basically, I made my first, I know how I said that I had a friend in kindergarten, but we were friends for 2 months, I think. I don't know. It's very hazy. I made my first friend in first grade. First grade. And I was her. Oh wait, she probably had other friends. I don't know. Well, at school we were each other's only friends, and I just hung out with her. And she probably, if she's listening to this, she probably knows it's her. So I don't want this to come off as insulting, because it's not. I swear. We're like friends, right? But you were kind of a jerk to me when we were younger. And for the sake of entertainment, that's why I'm telling the story. So don't be mad at me if you're watching this. If you're not, screw you. No, I'm kidding. Don't screw you, okay? But watch it. But also, if you're watching it, I'm sorry. Anyhow, so basically, this friend was kind of verbally and emotionally. Oh wait, I guess it's the same thing. She was kind of verbally and physically abusive. She was a good friend though. No, she was just a touch verbally and physically abusive. And one of the things she liked to do was, oh gosh, one of the things she liked to do was to tease me by almost pouring milk in my lap. So I'd be sitting there with the freshest little squirt on. If you do not know what a squirt is, how are you living on Earth without knowing what a squirt is? The biggest invention in fashion history. And B, it is basically a skirt with shorts sewn into it. I wear a lot of those. Anyway, I'd be sitting in my fresh little a crisp new skirt, and my friend, she'd take her little carton of milk, and then she'd slowly turn it to almost pour the milk on my lap, and I'd be like, no, and she'd just laugh at me whimpering in fear that she was going to destroy my skirt. And she usually never actually poured it on my lap, but sometimes she did. Yeah. So that's basically. Yeah. I have another story from first grade. It's not that quick. I was gonna say it's quick. It's not really that quick. Basically, I've said basically 8 times. Basically, I wasn't very popular in first grade, and I'd like to note how freaking messed up it is that social castes were already forming when we were 6, and that there was a sharp divide between the popular kids and the unpopular kids, and we were 6. I don't even know how this formed. I guess it was kind of just the loud blonde kids who played sports, and I don't even know. I guess it was just the loud kids. No, the loud, outgoing kids who played sports and weren't ugly/fat, as I was. So, I'm sitting there indoor recess. By the way, indoor recess freaking sucks. It's basically when it... Oh gosh, I said basically again. It's when it rains outside, basically. And we can't play outside, because it's raining. I wouldn't play outside. I'd just sit there with my friend who'd pour milk in my lap, and we'd just talk or, I don't know, do lazy kid things. We wouldn't run around like the other kids. And yeah, it was no recess. I'm sitting there, and this girl walks up to me. I remember her name to this day, but I will not say it. I love how I'm like not saying these names as if like the entire freaking world is listening to this. I think we could have like 10 listeners, like 10 to 20. That's freaking nothing. Like they're not okay. Barely any people at all are listening to this. So why do I think that like my rivals from first grade are? I don't know. It makes me feel important to say like I won't say their name as if like they're gonna be listening to this. It's like gonna get back to them, but it's not. So anyway, I still won't say her name. And she walks up to me, right? I'm just sitting there, probably like staring off into space or like picking at scabs or whatever I did back then. And she says, "By the way, you'll never be as popular as me." And she just like walks away. I was kind of shaking. I was like, what the heck? And honestly, I kind of forget what happened after that. I think I told my parents, and like the guidance counselor got involved, and I think she had like a meeting with me. I was more just like shocked. I wasn't really like sad and like offended as they thought I was. I was just kind of like, yeah, this kind of sucks. And I never talked to her again. So that's a wrap on first grade. Woohoo! Now, second grade. I'm starting with the tale of a child. I don't know his name actually. If only I could take all the names of these kids and just like flush it out of my brain. And like make room for something actually important. I could be like a freaking astrophysicist with all this useless information I've stored in my mind of like TV theme songs and like these kids and like actors who I saw in movies 4 years ago. You watch a movie and you're like, hey, that guy played the dad in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Imagine if you could get that information out of your mind. You too could be an astrophysicist. We need to talk to those guys. How are they making room in their mind? I don't know. I don't have any astrophysicist friends. I do know this kid's name, but I feel like I shouldn't say it. You know, screw it. I'm gonna say it. His name is Christian Monaco. He was a crazy little kid, right? Right, as if he's like, you know who this is. You don't know who this is. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Anyway. His name is Christian Monaco, and he's wild. So essentially, what he liked to do in class, he'd get up on the desk and like scream bloody murder. And the teacher, like assistant, which is a funny thing that we had. I don't know why we had it. I don't know. We had a teacher assistant, and then the teacher assistant, who was nice. Well, she was nice in my nerdy little opinion, at least. She picked this kid up and carried him out of the room. I don't know if that's like a human rights violation or something, or like against the law, but she'd do it. And he had these like glasses that were like really foggy, and then he'd shout out like curses. Obviously, he said like frick once, and then we were like, oh my gosh. Wait, am I allowed to say frick on here? Mom, please don't get mad at me for saying frick. Okay. And he'd pick up like this beach ball we had for some reason and like knock it around the room, and oh my gosh, all of us kids would be like so entertained as this was happening. By the way, if this sounds choppy somehow with all like the like little stretches of silence, I keep pausing it to sneeze. I don't, as far as I know, I don't have corona, but I don't actually know. This is the thing people tend to forget. They're like, I don't have it, trust me. When they like didn't get tested, so there's literally no way they would know. The whole point of the virus is that you don't know whether or not you have it. Like, well, you could be asymptomatic. Whatever. So I don't think I have Rona. Who am I kidding? I go to freaking school every day. I probably have it, honestly, at this point. This podcast is gonna be real funny when I'm like in the hospital with corona. I'm just gonna be like looking back and just like, you freaking moron. So he jumps up on the desk and he's screaming and he's acting insane. And he's honestly just like a hoot at this point. He made my second grade year interesting. But third grade, something insane happened. Christian was gone. And then rumors spread like wildfires. I don't know if this is true or not, but he got like sent to the school that was like a behavioral school. Okay, again, this is like rumors, so it's probably like wildly false. He probably just like moved, but he got, rumor has it, 8-year-old rumor has it that he got sent to like this behavioral school because his behavior was out of whack. So it really kind of makes sense. And they said that he was they being kids, they said that he was supposed to come back in 5th grade. And I just remember like looking forward to 5th grade, like waiting for him to come back. But 5th grade rolled around and he never did. A moment of silence for our boy Christian Monaco. Thank you for making my 2nd grade year very interesting, entertaining us all, and really just giving the teachers a run for their money. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the sound of my quiet breathing. Okay, so now that we've talked about 2nd grade, oh, I actually don't have anything from 3rd grade. I guess that was a good year. Now we're moving on to 4th grade, a freaking awful year! Woohoo! Yeah, 4th grade was the pits. It was terrible. It was so awkward and weird. My 4th grade was kind of equivalent to like my parents' like 7th grade, because I feel like puberty has changed a lot in like the past couple of decades, and there's actually like scientific research on it. I'll be vague with this. Back in like the 70s and 80s, has a nice loud swallow. Back in the 70s and 80s, puberty would start like later. It would start 13. Now it starts like when you're 11. It's insane. I mean, obviously there's kids back then, it started when they were like 11, and kids now it starts when they're 13, but like on average. And for girls back a couple decades ago, it would like start when they were 13, and then like over the course of a year, they'd go through like all like the changes. But now it's like completely scattered throughout like 11 to 16. It's not just like boom, everything's done within like a year when you're 13. It's like spaced out from like 11 to 16. It's really weird. I would definitely take old time. Actually, hold on. I guess like the upside with it now is that like it's spaced out. You have a time you get used to it, but also it happens when you're younger, and also it lasts longer. But I feel like it can be kind of like jarring when you're like 13 and like boom, 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 and like you change in all these ways over like the course of 1 year. Okay, I take now. Anyway, things got awkward in 4th grade. You remember how I said I had one friend in 1st grade? That stayed true in 2nd and 3rd grade, and I actually branched out to make more friends in 4th grade. So I made these 2 friends, and one was nice. I liked her a lot, and I still like her. We talk sometimes. And one, not as much. So basically, the second girl was like literally a pathological liar, and she'd just make up stuff. Yeah, she'd say stuff that was like blatantly not true, and of course, being like 9, I could like detect a liar. I just took everything she said for truth. For truth? Is that correct grammar? I took everything she said as true. And in my memory, let me recite some of the things she said. Once she said how she had searched WikiHow, or like YouTube, for like how to kiss. And I remember when I was in 4th grade, that was also my search history. Don't worry, I didn't stumble upon anything, inappropriate. I literally just like searched WikiHow. I was like, how to kiss, and it was just like still like drawings of like kissing, and I was like, oh, okay. That's like good mint. Yeah, I was literally thinking about that when I was like 10. Everything was. It was like, for some reason, like the awkward year happened like 3 years before it did for like it does in the movies, or like for my parents. Or like at least back in the 70s and 80s. And she said that she had like searched YouTube and WikiHow for how to kiss, and then her mom went into her search history, and I was like, oh my gosh, did your mom like get really mad at you? And then she was like, no, my mom said, oh, okay, I understand, and then taught me. Okay, gosh, okay, that sounded, okay. She like basically like explained it to her. That's what, this girl said happened. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And she also told me how she had played spin the bottle with, I was just about to say like high schoolers, but we were in 4th grade, so she probably said like 7th graders, and I thought that was old. It's funny. To look back, when you're in 4th grade, you think like, I remember being in like 2nd grade, I thought 4th grade was so old, but now I'm like so much older than that. And I remember being in 5th grade, thinking like 8th grade was so old, but now I'm past that. It's crazy, man. And like, the 4th graders looking back seemed really big. And like, also quick sidebar, in 5th grade I thought the 8th graders looked so large and so old, and I just looked at my old 5th grade yearbook to see like how much of a difference, because I thought I'd look back and be like, oh wow, like they don't look old at all. I looked back, they look really old. They look literally 16. I was right. They were freaking old looking 8th graders. Like, they look older than me now. Like, they look like 16. No, they look like 17. Yeah, they look older than me now. They look like 17 or like 18. It's insane. What was I talking about? Oh, pathological liar. She probably said like she like played spin the bottle with 7th graders. She also said how when her brother was born, he was born to rock music playing. You heard me right. To rock music playing. I think she said like Metallica or something, but she basically just told us that there was like heavy metal playing as her brother was like being born. Because sometimes for some reason like parents will choose like a birthing song. It's like I don't know. And I will always love you. It's some like cheesy song about like love or something that they'll play when like kids come in. But she told us that her parents chose Metallica, which, looking back, was obviously not true. The thing that tipped it for me was when she told us that she wrote a song. And so we were like walking around the track, or I don't know, whatever the heck we did. And she was like, yeah, I wrote the song. And she started singing it. And everyone was like, wow, it's such a good song. And then I'm like, hold the heck on here. Because I couldn't put my finger on it. But I thought I knew the song. Also, am I going to get copyrighted for singing on here? It was bad singing, so I don't think Whitney Houston's estate's going to sue me. For that, like, 5-second beautiful cover that I just did there. So this pathological liar singing the song, and everyone's like, wow, and I think that I know the song, and that this, in fact, is not her song, but I'm not sure. I'm like, are you sure about that? Maybe. I was like so considerate. I was so much nicer then. Well, actually, I was probably meaner then. I don't know. I was like nicer sometimes then, meaner sometimes. I don't know. Wait, does that mean I'm like just the same? I don't know. But I was like nice. I was like, are you sure that you mistaken it? You thought it was. You thought you like wrote the song, but actually you're remembering another song you know. And she's like, no, I wrote this song. And so I get home like the little like sneaky little piece of trash I am, and I look up the lyrics and like I'm gonna get down to this. Like we're gonna crack the case, and I look at the lyrics, and it's a song. It's a song that already exists, and it's not her song. And so I freaking go to school the next day, and I'm like, hey. And I basically confront her like on the carpet, and tell her that the song isn't hers. But I wasn't that like mean with it. I was like, hey, that song isn't yours. So do you think it was like a mistake, or it was important for me to address this because she literally lied to all of us, just like looked in our eyes and lied to us for no reason. And she was just like, and then like the other girl who was like my other friend, when I say all of us, I meant like, okay, the girl that I'd always been friends with that poured milk in my lap, and remember how I said that I made 2 new friends in 4th grade? That girl too. She lied to Milk Girl, the new girl, me, and me. And basically the new girl was like, what? And she was like kind of confused, and like she didn't know what to say, and then I was like, come on! I cracked the case, man! I'm thinking she'd like join alongside me and like be outraged, but she just didn't, she didn't do anything. And I never really talked to, wait, hold on, actually no, I did talk to Pathological Liar in 5th grade. I don't know why, I did, we were still friends. You know, kids are just weird. They can like expose each other for lying, and then they'll be friends. It's funny. So, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about something else in 2nd and 3rd grade. Okay, so remember I mentioned my epic party in 1st grade? I had another one in 2nd grade. So basically I invited everyone in my class. It was a co-ed party. Over to my house, and we had pizza and we played games. And the fun part was how these girls, the popular girls, they went up to my little sister's room, and she's 5 years younger than me, so she was like 3. She went to my little sister's room, and they closed and locked the door, and like started like talking, and then it was my freaking house. So I like walked in, like I knocked on the door. Oh, actually, they probably didn't lock it. I opened the door, and they're like, "Hey, we're having a meeting in here." I was outraged. It's my house, and you literally are looking at me in the eye and telling me that I can't go into a part of my house because you've claimed it as yours. It was so insulting, and I was like, it was my house, and this is my party. And I was like, I was a little jerky with it, but I was allowed to be a little jerky with it because they were being jerky with it. Welcome to 37 minutes of me justifying my past actions as a child. And that irked me. And in 3rd grade, my party, oh gosh, I had my party at this like at this, it was like this place where, they were like bouncy castles, and it was just like tons and tons of like these gigantic, ornate, is that the word? I don't know, it's like gigantic, like complicated, like, I don't know, like structured bouncy castles, and they were really cool. And there was this one thing that wasn't a bouncy castle, and it was basically this big like tower. It was inside. It was basically this big tower, and it had like these like bands on it. So there was like 7 levels of like bands that you had to like climb through and like step on to like spring yourself up to the next thing. I'm explaining it awfully, but being the real fat chubby self, I got on it, right? I have to go first. It's my party, and I get on it. I can't get to the next level. And I like keep trying to climb up this thing, and like there's literally a line of like 20 children, 20 like anxious, like ice cream fueled children trying to get on this thing, and actually I remember at first them being like encouraging, like, come on, Georgia, you can do it, Georgia. And, but I couldn't. I kept trying to get up it. And I was like, hold on, I can do another try. Hold on, I can do another try. And, like, I would, like, flip backwards off, like, the bands because they were, like, they're, like, stretchy. So I just go, boom, and, like flop upwards. And I couldn't get to the next level, and like I was like I kind of just lied there on the bands, like in resignation. And they were like, "Come on, Jordan, you need to get off." It got to the point at my own party where I was told by my guests to get off it because it was taking me so freaking long. And in 4th grade, I had a similar party. It was at a trampoline place, and it was basically just like a bunch of trampolines. And I didn't like that party. The second we all got there, all the other kids in my class, because, you invite your class for some reason, all the other kids in my class literally, like, ran away and, like, did their own thing, which I guess was, like, fine, but I don't know, I expected them to, like, stay with me, I guess. I don't know why I did, and I did. And literally all the photos from the party are just me and my, like, the one milk friends, because we're still friends. We're still friends now. And we were, like, it was just us two jumping on the trampolines. And, like, everyone else is off doing their own thing. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, I had glasses at this time, too. So I had glasses, like, 2nd to 6th grade. I felt like it was a worthy detail to add, that not only was I chubby, not only was I antisocial and awkward, I had glasses. Just, like, kick me while I'm down. Make it even worse. Pick a struggle past me, Oh, that was the last of my parties. The trampoline place. Oh, wait. Oh, crud. Sorry, I have to go back to 4th grade again, because I forgot another detail. I'll be quick. I played softball, we were the worst team. Out of, like, 10 games, we won, like, 2, I think? And I hated it. And, my freaking British? And I quit. 5th grade. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I just forgot. Well, I freaked out a lot there. I forgot another detail from 4th grade. I had an infatuation with makeup when I was in 4th grade. I'm looking at the list and of all my ideas for this episode. I spelled infatuation so wrong. I tried multiple times. I couldn't spell it right. Anyway, my spelling's just really gone downhill. I can't spell flipping certain right. I'm spelling everything wrong. So I just really was obsessed with makeup, because remember how I said in 4th grade everyone was going through changes? Obviously we weren't Corona. We weren't halfway through puberty or anything, but I don't know, we were getting into that stuff, I guess. And makeup is a big thing. I remember this one girl had this makeup YouTube channel, and it was cringy as heck. I still search it up to this day when I want a good laugh. Wait, actually, I think she took it down. I remember up to 7th grade though, I could look it up. And it would come up immediately. And I don't know, that's when my infatuation with makeup started. I'd get these little kits at Claire's and put on this fake looking cheap eyeshadow that didn't work at all, and take photos of myself and stuff. It was a rough time, but it's funny because for 4th grade I was all into makeup, but then I never revisited it ever again. Also, 4th grade was the first time I straightened my hair. I was just getting all into appearances then. It's funny, yeah, I straightened my hair and then I never straightened it again until 8th grade. I just didn't wear makeup because I didn't care about makeup. And also I bought a bunch of infinity scarves. Don't ask. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was kind of just replicating everything that the one girl of the YouTube channel did. She liked makeup, so I bought makeup. Huh. She wore infinity scarves, so I got infinity scarves. And she just had straight hair, so I straightened my hair. Okay. I don't know why I did that. But draw your own conclusions, I guess. Okay. Okay. Now, finally, guys, we've made it. We're in 5th grade now. I get to unleash all my weird 5th grade stories. So in 5th grade, my friend group was growing. It was multiplying. It was blooming. It was thriving. So I had Milk Girl, right? I wasn't that much friends with the pathological liar and the new girl, but we still talked. Milk Girl, this one new friend, she's probably listening now. However, how are things? Okay. And this one other girl, who I don't know if she's listening. If she is, hi Sophia. If you're not listening, Sophia, you should freaking listen to this. Sorry. It's my phone. Sorry about that. Let me turn off my ringer. I really didn't turn off my ringer before this. Oh my gosh. Oh, so this other girl, Sophia, we didn't like her. We like her now. She's great. She's nice. But we didn't like her then. We found her annoying, especially Milk Girl. Why did I say freaking her name? Annie. I'm sorry. Her name's Annie. I'm sorry that I've been referring to you as Milk Girl this entire thing. If you're in fact watching this, don't get mad at me. Yeah, I get mad if someone called me Milk Girl for like 40 minutes. I didn't want to say her name, but then I said Eva's name, so now it makes no sense that I haven't said Annie's name. Okay, anyway, hi, Annie. We didn't like Sophia, but that's just annoying. This sounds so cold-hearted, but it's true, we did. That was my friend situation in 5th grade, but also I had this Spanish teacher that I thought was very creepy. Oh my gosh, I got this just bad vibe about him, man. He just seemed weird. I don't know, he seems pedophilic, I guess. I don't know how I called this vibe when I was like 10, but like, I just felt it. He just acted strange, and flippin', I should watch my language. Sorry about that thing. And he like talked kind of weird. I can't put my finger. I just thought he was weird, and he'd like say hi to me in the hall. He'd say hi. Sorry. Corona. He'd like say hi to me in the hallways, and I'd literally just like not say anything and just walk by him, and it's like clear that I heard him because we were literally like 2 feet away from each other, and like there's no one else in the hallway, and he'd be like, "Hi, Georgia," like no one else in the hallway, just dead silence, like a foot away from me, and like I'm not listening to anything, and I just not look at him, and he walked by. I did that like multiple times. Oh gosh, I was so evil, but I did think he was a creepy pedophile. Though I don't think I even know like the word pedophile then, but like I thought he was. I thought that was creepy. Just messed with the camera accidentally there. Wait, camera, the microphone there. Hopefully that didn't go. Hopefully that didn't affect the sound quality. Okay, it's official. I just ran out of tissues. There's about like 20 on my desk right now. So yeah, just want to update you on that. So I thought it was creepy. Also, I had this principal, I'll say his name just for the freaking heck of it. His name is Mr. Platt, P-L-A-T-T. Look him up on LinkedIn or something. I think his first name was Eric. Actually, yes, his first name was Eric. I know. So you want that information. Basically, he's the principal, and once I went out to the restaurant when I was in 5th grade, and I saw him sitting there. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, I don't know, but this is what I remember. And I saw him sitting there with the school office secretary. He was out. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong. I'm just saying what I remember. I'm saying how it's been stored in my memory. Maybe it's inaccurate. It could very well be. But here's what I remember. He was sitting having dinner, like a one-on-one dinner, with our school office secretary. And I didn't think much of this because I was like 11, and then I turned to my parents because I'm at dinner with them, and I'm like, "Hey, look, it's my principal," and they turned to see my freaking principal having like an intimate, like one-on-one freaking dinner, like date with the school secretary. No, like, yeah, I said that's my principal, and they were like, Who's the lady? And I was like, "That's the secretary. That's the secretary." And they were like, "What?" I don't know, man. Maybe I was remembering that wrong, but I thought that's what happened. Okay. So, that's 5th grade. I'm just gonna level up to 6th grade. Basically, you know, if you listen to the last podcast, Ray is on that one, so you should definitely listen to it. If you didn't listen to it, I don't really know why you're listening to this one. It's so much better, man. It has both of us. The chemistry is much better. It's not just me ranting about childhood trauma. So go watch that one. Anyway, I was talking about my friend history on that one too, and so if you watched it, you'd know that I had no friends in 6th grade. And yeah, that's just a little backstory. It was the end of 6th grade, right? I thought it was also, like, for backstory, I watched the other episode, because there was, like, this whole debacle between, like, my two schools and everything, so I thought I was going to go back to my old school at the end of 6th grade, because I was, like, at a new school that I'd been at for, like, a couple of months, and so all my quote-unquote friends I had made over the past couple of months, they weren't friends, they were literally people who sat in my classes that I had never talked to once, ever. All my new friends, I DM'd on Instagram and asked for their numbers. On DMs, I slipped into their DMs and asked for their number. I can only imagine one way in which I could have done it, in which that could have been worse. But I was so freaking dumb, man. I thought I was, like, friends with them. I don't know why, because, like, we never talked ever. And they just, like, sat in my class. But I asked for the numbers, and, oh my gosh, to make it better, so I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go back to my old school. So I thought, in the case that I would, I asked for all the numbers of my new not friends at my new school that I'd made over the past couple of months. And I asked for the numbers of people I'd never even talked to at my old school in case I didn't go back. So, if I had to estimate, I asked like 35 people for their phone numbers that I'd never talked to once. We weren't friends. And I was like 11. Oh, nope, I was 12. So I was even a little older. And it was cringy as heck. And that's why I don't like to think about that time period. And, oh my gosh, okay, if I ever asked for your number in 6th grade and we weren't friends, I am so sorry. I still feel very bad about it and very just disgusted with myself and embarrassed. So I've deleted all of your numbers from my phone in an ashamed haze. This month where I deleted them and felt bad. So yeah, if I saved your phone number, if I asked for it, I'm sorry. Delete my phone number if you still have it, because I just want to completely erase any evidence of this incident. Oh, okay, so that's all I have for 6th grade. But, yeah, I'm not going to go over 7th grade, because it would take me so long. 7th grade was a rough year. That would be like an entire another episode. Yeah, and I have, like, oh my gosh, I have to journal every single day in 7th grade, so I have, like, perfect record of it all. Yeah, so maybe for, like, another bonus episode, I'll do that one day. All my journals and, like, bad memories from 7th grade, because 7th grade is a rough year. But, since there's some time left, yeah, I'm not going to go over 7th grade, I'm going to add a couple of tidbits from 8th grade, because that's still kind of childhood-ish. No, it's not. But it kind of is. So basically, this is all just my science teacher. Oh my gosh, literally all the stuff I've written down for 8th grade is just this one guy. So basically, I had kind of a weird teacher for science. He's not a bad guy. He's just kind of quirky. He's kind of quirky. And he did a lot of weird stuff, man. And I'll tell you about it. So it's Halloween, right? And at my school in 8th grade, everyone dressed up for Halloween. It was the greatest. Everyone did. Fun fact, in, like, 7th grade, because I wasn't there for, like, October in 6th grade, in 7th grade, I had put on this, like, full costume with, like, face paint and everything, and I didn't know if people were going to be dressing up, and I just showed up to school hoping that everyone would. And, like, at first I saw no one in costumes, and I got really nervous, but then everyone was wearing a costume, so that's a fun little tidbit. And then everyone was still wearing costumes in 8th grade. We were, like, 14, and everyone was wearing costumes. Wait, how old were you in 8th grade? Oh, you're 13, 14. Wait, what? Yeah. We were 14, and everyone was wearing costumes. It was fun. So this one kid was wearing, like, a gorilla costume. I forget who it was. And do I know that? No, I don't. I have no idea who that was. And he was being kind of annoying, I guess. So when the science teacher was like, here's what I'll do. He took the kid. He didn't, like, pick him up or anything. But he, like, went over to the kid. So, like, took him by, like, the collar or something. Or, like, his, like, shoulders, I think. And then he pushed him out of the class and locked the door. Oh no, he walked out of the classroom. He went into another classroom. I had like a perfect vision, like view of this because I could like see into the hallway from my seat. And he like pushed the kid into another room. He closed that door. There was a full class in that other room. So he took this kid, who was in a gorilla costume, mind you, pushed him out of our room into another classroom with a teacher and a full, like, a bunch of students in the middle of class. Shut the door, and walked back into our class and locked the door. And then the kid didn't come back for like 5 minutes, and he was just knocking there with his like freaking stupid gorilla mask. And then he let him in finally. Also in science class, basically someone dropped a crud. Someone dropped a ball of paper on the floor, like paper like crumbled up into a ball, and then the science teacher was like, "I got that for you," and then he swung his leg back to kick it. I don't know why he was going to kick the paper on the floor. It's a weird move, but he was going to do that. So he like swings his leg back like a ton to gain momentum to kick this. Little does he know, there was someone walking behind him as he's swinging back his leg. So like, this guy, like, already looking like a moron, is swinging back his leg with the kick paper in the ground. And he hits this girl walking behind him. And he's like, oh, sorry. He like hit her in the side with like the back of his shoe. And she was like, oh, it's okay. And then she like walked away. Looking a little different. Affected by this emotionally. And, oh crud. Basically, okay, let me set the scene again. This is another little tidbit from this great science teacher I had. He wasn't a bad teacher, he was just kind of quirky, as I said. And, so while I was sitting in class, being peaceful, we're doing work that he assigned us. No one's, like, being annoying or loud. Everyone's, like, adhering to the rules, being quiet, being studious, working. And to interrupt this, like, great, like, hum of, like, working we have in the room, this guy hurls a rock at a student. You heard that right. He, at his desk in the front of the room, picked up a rock and threw it at a child. The kid wasn't even annoying. She was really nice, and she never did anything wrong. She would just, like, sit there and was, like, quiet the whole class. For no reason, just unprovoked, he threw a rock at her. And she like, sailed out of the way, getting ready for, like, this rock to hit her. She jumped out of the way, and, like, the person, like, next to her jumped out of the way, and everyone was like, oh my gosh! And, like, everyone had, like, a mini heart attack. And, like, the rock, like, landed on the floor, and he's like, don't worry, by the way, it's a fake rock. He says this after he throws the rock, and, like, all of us think that this kid just got, like, hit with a freaking stone. And he tells us that it's a fake rock. Oh no. Oh no. So, guys, I'm looking down at my list here. I have another story about the science teacher, and it involves me. I don't really want to tell it. I'm really hyping this up, you can tell. I do want to tell it, that's why I'm hyping it up so much. So basically, it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm gonna tell it. It's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm wearing sweatpants, slides, my hair is in a bun. I'm looking like trash with a capital T. But I don't care, because I'm just in ShopRite or Shop and Stop or something. It's like this gigantic grocery store, because it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm with my dad, and we're going to pick up, like, cookie mix or something. And it's the night before Thanksgiving, and all through the house, no, it's the night before Thanksgiving, and I'm in shopping right, and I'm walking around singing More Than a Woman to myself. If you don't know that song, let me sing it again and get sued for copyright. More than a woman, more than a woman to me. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm selling CDs in the parking lot. I'm singing that, or like some sort of song, some sort of disco song, and I'm walking down the aisles of ShopRite, wearing trash, looking like trash, and then I just hear, hello, 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 he didn't say it 3 times, I hear, hello, and I look up, and my freaking science teacher is there. I had a heart attack. This wasn't a mini heart attack, this was an actual heart attack. It was a real medical heart attack that I had. No, it wasn't, but like, oh my gosh, that was freaking jarring. And he's in like this flannel shirt and like these jeans that look like they're from freaking like 1992, but like not in a cool way, like in a dad way. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. Because I'm so caught off guard by this. I didn't expect to see my science teacher at the grocery store at like 9 p.m. as I'm wearing like sweats. And so I'm just caught off guard, so I'm just like, hi. And I probably sound like the meanest person on earth, and then I just keep walking, just like, very affected by this. And, my gosh, I'm just like standing in the aisle, like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be safe again. Like, before that, I had led a life of blissful ignorance. I could just walk around and never worry about running into a teacher at school. But now my entire world had changed. I could never go back to the way things were before. It's just simplicity and happiness. No. I was forever going to worry about seeing my teacher at the grocery store. And so then, like, I have no idea where my dad is, because this store is, like, gigantic. I have zero clue where he is. And I'm, like, frantically running around trying to find my dad so we can get, like, the heck out of there, because I did not want to stay. Simultaneously trying to not run into my science teacher again to create yet another awkward situation. So I'm like trying to like discreetly run down the hallways or like kind of like look down them and then run down them, and like I kind of like looked around the store to like try and see my dad so I could find him, and see my science teacher so I could avoid him. And then I finally found my dad, and I was like, and I didn't even like tell him about it immediately, because that's how much it like scarred me, and I was still like emotionally jarred from this. Okay, if you think I'm being dramatic, you haven't met a teacher outside of school. Actually, before this, I had met teachers outside of school, but those are teachers that I like. Those are teachers I liked and who weren't kind of weird. I'm not saying this guy's bad, but he's weird. And he's like a 55-year-old man. And these ladies I taught outside of school were 30-year-old women. It's different. So I finally got my dad and we escaped the store, and then I tell him about it later that night, I think. It's just freaking rough, man. That's not the end of the story. It continues. So that happens, Thanksgiving? It happened the night before Thanksgiving. It's like November something. Fast forward to January of that same year. It has been 3 months since that happened. 2.5. 2.5 months since that had happened. And all this 2.5 months, I've been, like, when the bell would ring and science class would end, I would, like, run out of there. I'd dart out of the room, because I did not want, like, any spare seconds with my science teacher where it could possibly be brought up again. But one day, I kind of forgot, I guess. Of course I forgot. Well, no, I hadn't forgot about the shop and stop, store grocery incident. It was fresh in my mind, and I couldn't look at this guy without thinking about that and just feeling completely awkward. But I guess one day, it took me too long to get my books or something, and there was just kind of like dead silence, and I'm the last one to get out of the class. I'm the last one in the class gathering all my things. And then the science teacher is like, so? And I'm like, oh no, because I knew what was going to happen next. I couldn't believe it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen. And he's like, so, were you surprised to see me at the grocery store? I don't, mind you, it has been 2.5 months since this had happened. And it makes sense that it's fresh in my mind, because, like, I don't know, I'm like 14, I'm stupid, I feel, like, much more awkward about things than I need to. 14-year-olds do that, right? And also, I don't have, like, 100 students. So, like, each, like, experience outside of school with someone, like, who's, like, not my friend, who is from school, is, like, much more memorable, because it doesn't happen often, because there's, like, less people. I have my teachers, and I have, like, a couple of, like, students. I don't know. Okay, I don't have 100 students, and I'm also, like, an awkward kid, and, it's much more important to me. This guy is, like, a freaking adult, and he has, like, 100 students. He's somehow not remembered. This is fresh in this guy's mind. This was, like, imprinted in there. Something, like, he was not forgetting. That was, like, just as, like, present in his, like, conscious as it was in mine. And that part I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe that this guy with 100 students, who was an adult, still felt just as awkward about it, and, like, remembered, and it was, like, so fresh in his mind to the point where he was, like, sitting on it for 2.5 months. And, congruent, did I use that right? I don't know, I'm in math. I got math in the mind, just did some homework. Congruent to, the way I remembered it. And I was like, yeah, and usually, and sometimes when you're about to say something stupid, but you're like, who cares at this point, honestly? And, like, I didn't stop it yet. I was like, yeah, I thought teachers lived at school. I said that kind of, like, jokingly, and he was like, oh. And I walked out of the class, and I was never the same again. So, thank you for listening to this episode. It was sponsored by Childhood Trauma and Low Self-Esteem. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening a lot. You honestly, like, good for you if you made it to the end. I barely made it to the end. And I just really hope you have a good day. I hope things are going good for you in life. I don't know why I'm getting preachy here, but, like, sometimes I need to hear this, but if things are going bad, because sometimes, like, things stink, right? It happens to everyone. So, if things are bad, if things are sad, just know that there are people who care about you and want to see you happy, even if you don't think it, so there are. So, that was a little off topic, but hopefully that helps someone. So thank you for listening, as I said, and thanks for bringing it to the end, as I said, and see you next time. Bye.